my name is Asma.
My name is Harris.
My name is Mahin.
They call me Rishi, but you can call me tonight.
My story is unique.
My story is interesting.
My story is made of a lot of different stories.
Do you really want me to say that? I don't want to say that.
This class has changed the way I look at so many
It
different
has
things.
opened my eyes to a lot of different lifestyles and worldviews.
Between stories and guest speakers that inspire.
And documentaries that shocked and horrified.
My story starts with my Pakistani parents immigrating here to the United States. My family's been Muslim for as long as I know. We basically have no religious diversity in the immediate or extended family. But my grandparents were very religious and made sure that they passed their religiosity down towards us. They taught us how to read the Quran, how to pray 5 times a day. They made sure we went to masjid every day and that we went to Islamic school. But just because my family's always been Muslim doesn't mean I didn't experience any religious diversity. I grew up in a very predominantly Orthodox Jewish community, so I knew a lot about Judaism from way long ago. I learned about the different symbols of Judaism when I was very young. Like I knew what the Sabbath was and why people took the stairs on Friday nights, and I knew that you could tell which apartment belonged to a Jewish family based off of the symbols on the doors, which was called mezuzah. And being aware of not just my religion but somebody else's made me very intrigued and made me interested in different religions. And the exposure to different religions didn't end there. When I went to high school, I went to a Catholic high school, so I was exposed to the Catholic faith. I had teachers who were nuns. I carried a Bible around. I went to church, and I also wore hijab. So even though I was exposed to so many different religions, I still made sure that my own religion was intact. Because of everything that I experienced, I wasn't just lightly aware of different religions, but I had a very heavy influence on them. I believe that everything I experienced and learned, I am who I am because of that. Even today, I love learning about different religions, but it only makes me more firm and stronger on my own beliefs. Learning about these different religions allows me to question my own religion and learn more about it.
My story begins in New Delhi, where I was born and raised. I stayed there for 12 years before shifting to Bangalore, a city with probably the most beautiful weather in the world. And that's probably when I realized that I was the biggest cheesy romantic. After finishing my high school years in Bangalore, I shifted with my family to the Philippines, where I studied in a university for 2 years before transferring to NYU. I grew up in a fairly liberal household where no religious beliefs or customs were imposed on me. So shifting to the Philippines was a culture shock in some ways. It is predominantly a Catholic country, but it did teach me a lot about cultural sensitivity and interacting with people from different faiths while maintaining your own beliefs. Coming to NYU in a way felt like coming home, since New York City is a very liberal city, but at the same time you can see people from almost all the faiths and religions that exist in the world. So it's a great place for you to interact with people from different faiths and maintain your own beliefs and views at the same time. I don't know what my story is going to look like in the future, but rest assured, I think I'll be fine.
My story starts in Karachi. I was born and raised in Pakistan as a Muslim, and I grew up surrounded by Muslims, so there wasn't much religious diversity around me. There wasn't much exposure to religious diversity, but however, I did learn a lot about the different sects in Islam that coexist in Pakistan, and how little differences can either drive people apart or they can come together under one umbrella to protect each other. Growing up, however, I did travel a lot, which taught me a lot about difference in culture and made me appreciate culture a lot. But I never had enough intimate experience to learn anything about religion. So coming to NYU was the first time I actually had an up-close and personal interaction with different faiths. I believe diversity has taught me a lot about acceptance and respect, and learning about different religions has made me more curious about my own religion and has sort of strengthened my faith, at the same time making me go after it more, like seeking it out more. Um, and I guess engaging in discussions over here has allowed me to truly understand the meaning of pluralism and how we exist beyond our own world and how we affect others around us by everything we do. Our actions sort of resonate within the world around us, and with a ripple effect, you're like sort of affecting the world around you. And I hope that I'm a positive change for the world.
My story started in Lahore, Pakistan, where I was born and lived for 2 years. Then me and my mom came out to live in Elmhurst, Queens to join my father, which is the most diverse place in the world. I lived in Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, and now Regal Park. As I attended school, elementary school to high school, I was always surrounded by different races. My closest friends were always of different ethnicities and changed from school to school. So growing up, I always had a diverse knowledge of different world religions. I knew the stories behind different holidays and could pick out the days off from school on the calendar. So going through all this diversity, sometimes I felt left out through people from my own country. My neighborhood in Jackson Heights consisted of a lot of people from Latin America, Colombia, and Ecuador. But I did connect with people from my country, Pakistan, as well as my religion when I went to an after-school program and learning the Quran. This sub-community within the larger community, my own larger community, gave me a group of people who I could really connect to. As my family always had a lot of focus on religion, I spent a lot of holidays with my larger extended family, and my Eid celebrations were always big. So coming to NYU, this subculture, larger culture, has really been what I've been used to in my whole life. When my subculture being that I see people from the Muslim community, also outside of just connecting with different people of all world religions.
This class has taught me about active faith and
This
leadership.
class has taught me about how the world is getting smaller.
This class has taught me about community and
Class
coexistence.
has taught me about myself.
Hey, are any of you guys taking that class in DC over the summer?
Wait, which class is this?
Of course you wouldn't know. Are you ever in class?
I'm in class, but I'm not in class.
The one with Pastor Joshua.
Oh, the guy from the White House.
Yes,
Yeah.
that guy.
Do you remember what he said?
He talked about politics and religion and of the Obama campaign. He talked about the women in the hijab, the two girls in the hijab.
And how he said that whatever happened it was poor judgment by one of the White House officials and it had no reflection on Obama himself.
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it reflected badly on Obama.
Exactly.
You want to add something, Rishi? Are you thinking of taking the class? What about Harris? Are you planning on taking the class?
Not this summer. Maybe next summer.
Because he's just gonna sit in the White House for you, right?
But there were other interesting speakers in the class too.
My favorite was Khadija, for
Mine too.
sure.
Because she thought I looked like a son.
Yep, that's exactly why she was my favorite, because she thought Rishi was
She
like
was his son.
I could feel the emotional connection with her actually.
She kept everyone awake. She was like counting, oh, where are you from? What's your ethnicity?
Yeah,
She had you on your toes
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. But like the things that she said were like really like they kinda hit home. You're like thinking about it and like, yeah, I should be more aware of where I come from or who I am. Like I should be a strong person by knowing who I am based on my history and my identity, and that's the only way to move forward.
Yeah, she said that like when you walk into a room, it's as if you're not walking in there alone. You're walking with all of your ancestors behind you. So whatever you do, you have to remember that. So
I think that's a very good point. I remember she said that.
It's crazy how she could tell us like dates and like people from her past, from like dating back to the 1800s, from her family came over, from the slave trade and all that. That was really weird.
And I think what she was also trying to say was that we as individuals are a function of our ancestors and not only our parents, but our grandparents and relatives who go way back. And that all this together forms our identity in many ways. And only when we know our identity can we go out and make a change.
And that's also one thing I really liked about her, that she inspired me to want to be a more active citizen in sense, to inspire change and to help the people I can, because we don't realize how lucky we are, and we should take advantage of that and actually go out and reach out. All the struggles that she's been through in her life, she's not ready to back down. She's ready to fight.
I also like her emphasis on family. Because you choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, right? Oh.
And she also talked about her own family and how religiously diverse they were. She
Yes.
said that somebody was Hindu and then one of her sisters was atheist, I think, before becoming Muslim. There was a lot of religious diversity in family.
In just that one family.
Yeah, exactly. And they were all very accepting of it. They all went to each other's religious
Which
stuff.
goes to show that a family is like a micro example of religious pluralism, right?
Exactly.
And we have a lot to learn from them.
My story is still incomplete.
My story will grow and change with me.
My story is still writing itself.
My story will be in theaters soon, eventually.